Well, we learned today that iconic musher Dan Seavey passed away earlier today. And this was sent to us from the Iditarod. I just want to read a little bit from it. In 1973, Dan played a pivotal role in organizing and running the first Iditarod, and he competed in that inaugural race. His dedication to the sport and its history led him to serve on the ITC Board of Directors and on the board of the Iditarod Historic Trail Alliance, and he was instrumental in the establishment of the Iditarod Trail as a National Historic Trail in 1978. I apologize. Everybody who watches these knows that I do get very emotional. In 2017, we do have an interview between Dan Seavey and Rhonda McBride, and I just want to play a little clip when he talks about that very first race.
I can distinctly remember Rick Mackey questioning himself in front of me, I guess, about the wisdom of even going on that first race. And I said, Dick, look at it this way. There'll never be another first. I mean, there could be 1,000 more, but there'll never be another first. And that's where history starts. And we called him the silver-tongued fox. That was Joe Reddington. He could talk his grandmother out of her false teeth, I'll bet you.
And that last part just made me smile. And so joining us right now is Mark Nordman. He is the race director for the Iditarod. And Mark, you knew Dan Seavey well. How are you feeling today? I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it sure was a big hit, for so many people within Iditarod and actually statewide, all the communities we traveled through on Iditarod. And it was a surprise. I did hear from his son Mitch this morning, and of course, we wanted to get something else out. And you mentioned the IHTA, the Historic Trail Alliance here for the Iditarod, and he had a passion for history. And of course, he's an author, as you saw in your piece there. He was quoting out of one of his books. It's a huge hit. I mean, he was a feisty gentleman, a true Alaskan, but a real gentleman. He just had a passion for people, for dogs. He was still taking care of his sled dogs right till the end of his life. Um, yeah, it's. I think what I remember about Dan mostly is just his love of life and truly his being so proud of his family, and not just within Iditarod, not just the kids that have all raced it, and just in general, he was always so proud of those kids.
Well, and of course, Mitch being a three-time Iditarod champion, and then his grandson Dallas being the only six-time champion. So this is a family legacy of that started with him. How important was this legacy to Dan Seavey?
Oh, it was everything. Keep going back to the Historic Trail Alliance. He would bring up the legacy of Iditarod, and he was constantly promoting it with his friends. And everywhere you go, he would be talking about what we do and how it has to continue. And damn the torpedoes, all full ahead. We're going to go ahead and make this thing go forever. And the legacy is huge. The family name, of course. But just like I said, he was a true gentleman of the trail, and also just had such a passion for everything we do. He's going to be dearly missed. And finishing third in that first race, that they didn't know if they were going to make it or not. And he had such a loving wife that supported him, as so many people do. And especially, it's a big passion. It's a special time to think about Dan Seavey, and I will honor him forever.
Well, and I think that those of us today that watch the race, we don't quite realize that first race, it took them 20 days, and now we're down below 10, below 9 most years for the winner to get there. And I also heard in one of the interviews that they didn't have the money to pay the winner, so he borrowed some money from Dan Seavey's prize to give to the winner that first year, but Dan Seavey said he didn't regret any of it.
No, I think that is definitely Dan. He like I keep going back to, he was a school teacher in Seward. He went through so many things down there as the community grew, and but yeah, he was 100% behind Iditarod, and like I said, we're gonna dearly miss him.
And, you know, the original mushers, we're losing a lot of them from those early races. What do you want people to kind of remember and think on today after we've lost another kind of iconic musher?
I just think that the Iditarod, and I don't use the word lightly, but it's such an iconic event, and I think we just have to believe in what we do, and if you believe in what you do in any aspects of life, then you're in good shape. And the Iditarod is not going away. Of course, we have our struggles, as any nonprofit does, but I'm looking forward to the February race, and the March race of 2026, and I know Dan will be watching us leave the starting line.
And so before I let you go, give me a favorite memory of you and Dan Seavey.
Oh, let's see. I'd probably say, um, I think during the race, just listening to his stories in Nome, everybody, of course, so many family members, children and his sons and his grandchildren ran the race, and I think sitting in the Muni, as we call it, up in Nome at the finish line, he would be telling stories from the first race and just smiling as everybody came in. He was there to greet everybody.
Well, that's wonderful. Again, we have lost Dan Seavey, one of the classic mushers. Thank you, Mark, so much for joining us and talking a little bit
Oh, and
about your friend.
thank you so much for asking me to come on. It's a very special time for me. Thank you.
Thanks.